And we're on. What's up, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media. He is Mayhem Matthew Mayhem Matthew. And this is Touchdown Tuesdays. We do this every single week. Sometimes we might skip because schedules might interfere, but we try to bring you great college football content every single week. And tonight, we want to rank all 16. And you see by the title, we put a question mark 16. Yes, that's right, because Texas and OU are officially members of the SEC coming July of 2024 this year. And we got to rank the coaches, especially with the retirement of Nick Saban. Mayhem, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and I thought this would be a great segment to do, the greatest of all time head coach, Nick Saban. We already know retired, a few short days ago. So I just thought maybe, and there's also a few new coaches coming into the SEC with Mike Elko, Kalen DeBoer. Them are the names that stick out to me right now. But yeah, and then Jeff Lebby, he's a new coach coming into the SEC. So got some new coaches. We're gonna rank them based off of their head coaching so far. It doesn't matter if it's in the SEC or not, just based off of the head coaching experience and who do we think's obviously better than the next person. So, and this is opinionated, obviously. So we're going to have two different lists. I do not know Ballard's list, and Ballard don't know my list. We're just going to shoot straight from the hip, and let's go ahead and get right on into it. We might as well, right?
Yeah, I think how we should do it, though, you want to just go number one and we both fire out who we got? And
I
just
think
go
we should
down to
go from
16?
I think we should go 16 all the way to 1 because we all know who's number 1.
Well, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
not really that.
I mean, we can do that, but like one at a time with our coaches instead of throwing out the whole list.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see Ballard's number 16, and then once you put out your thing, kind of talk about it for a few seconds, and or maybe a minute or so. Talk about why you put that specific coach where you put them. So you want to go ahead and start us off?
Yes, sir. So my first coach of the night ranked at 16 at the bottom of the list. I'm going to have to go with Mississippi State's new coach, Jeff Lebby. As a head coach, he really has no experience, but he's been a great quarterback coach at Ole Miss, Oklahoma, UCF, offensive coordinator at those schools. It's just without the head coaching experience, I just can't put him too high. I'm not here to degrade anybody tonight, not to put them down, but you got to put somebody at the bottom. I'm going to start with Jeff Lebby. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Might as well go ahead and throw mine up there too. I got number 16, Jeff Lebby as well. So I totally agree with that. We don't really know how he's going to be as a head coach. We know he was a pretty good offensive coordinator. I think he was with Jeff Lebby was with Ole Miss, and then he went somewhere else. Can't remember. Oklahoma with Brent Venables, which is also on this list, somewhere in this list. So, yeah, he's offense coordinator for Ole Miss and the Oklahoma Sooners. So he knows SEC ball. Is it going to be enough to be a head coach? We'll find out.
Absolutely. I'm glad we're on the same page with Jeff Lebby being at the bottom of the list, but I doubt that our lists are the same. That being said, since we agree on that, let's go to number 15 on the list. And I'm going to have to go with Clark Lea. I love what he's done at Vanderbilt these past few years. I think recruiting's pretty good, but it's still Vanderbilt, honestly. And, I just being honest, I don't think there's a lot of expectations still at Vanderbilt. I think the expectation is to just continue to progress, and I think he can do that. But at the same time, you know, squeaking by to try to get a bowl game every year. I don't really admire that too much. What do you think?
Same. I mean, so far our list is the same. I got Clark
Yeah.
Lee at number 15. Um, just like you said, Vanderbilt really don't have much expectations whenever it comes to football. And Clark Lee, he's not the best Vanderbilt head coach of all time. So with that being said, I mean, who's Penn State's head coach? Remind me of that again.
James Franklin.
Um, James Franklin. If James Franklin was at Vanderbilt, then maybe I would have James Franklin ranked a little bit higher than this, even with being a Vanderbilt head coach. Because, I mean, even James Franklin had Vanderbilt winning 9 games there at Vandy. But Clark Lee really hasn't done much. He's done basically what every other Vanderbilt head coach has done, 2 or 3 wins per season, straight garbage can. I got him at 15.
I respect that. I respect that. So, that being said, speaking of the SEC, we had 14 teams. Now we have 16. It's time to get to number 14. I'm probably going to catch a lot of slack for this and a lot of heat and crap. Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer.
Wow. Okay. Shane Beamer. Why? Why you say Shane?
I love Shane Beamer. I love his attitude. I love his character. I love his heart. But I just thought last year was kind of a downfall, and you could say it was a down year, but he didn't even make a bowl game. It was just complete and utter disaster at South Carolina and Columbia. And Carolina Jackpot, I see you. Twisted Rooster, I see you. And Gamecock Chuck, I see you too. Come at me. Let's debate. Let's argue. Set up a stream, something like that. But 5-7 last year, not making a bowl game. I know the schedule was tough. The schedule's going to get even tougher with the new SEC schedule and everything like that. I just don't see room for improvement. And by the way, his overall head coaching record is 20-18. He's 10-14 in SEC play. Is there any part of that you would disagree or like anything you want to say to contribute?
Yeah. So I'm gonna give Shane Beamer a mulligan this year. I mean, his whole entire offensive line pretty much got injured, and I know it's next man up mentality, but come on, it's South Carolina. I mean, if we were
by the way, I'm not a hater here. I'm just ranking coaches. I love Shane Beamer to death, and I wish him the best. And I want to see South Carolina get back as much as the next man. But continue on. I just wanted to throw that out there.
get back to what though?
Just relevancy somehow. However that looks, whatever that looks like.
I mean, they have won 1969 ACC championship. They're not in the ACC no more. This is SEC football. But I will give Shane Beamer a mulligan this year and this year only, because of all the injuries on the offensive line. I mean, he really couldn't help that. He had like freshmen jumping in there, and people that were wet behind, players that were wet behind the ears. So with that being said, I do have Shane Beamer a little bit higher on this list than you do, a little bit much higher on the list than you do, which is kind of a shocker you put him there. But you're going to be shocked at the number 14 guy that I have, which is Sam Pittman.
Oh,
he had.
Really?
Yeah, he had a couple of great years. He had a couple great years. He had one of the best. I didn't say the best. I said one of the best quarterbacks. In the SEC, and but man, he is, to me, he is an offensive lines coach. He is not a head coach. He's been at North Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas, Georgia, as offensive lines coach there. Pretty much his whole entire career, he's been an offensive lines coach. It says right here, back in like the 90s, he was a tight ends coach. But outside of that, he's always been offensive lines coach, and then now he's a head coach. I think he sparked lightning in a bottle with KJ Jefferson and won, a few 8-win seasons. But outside of that, Sam Pittman, last year he didn't do good. This year he did not do good. Sam Pittman's got like half a year to get things together. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it before he's sitting on somebody else's staff as an offensive lines coach.
I agree with you. I think you had him a space lower than I did. My next guy on the list, I know you guys hated me for Shane Beamer there, only because I don't think he knows what he's getting into. Plus, you got to think of the situation at the school that Jimbo Fisher left it in. My next guy is Mike Elko. Is that too low for him? What do you think?
That's number 13, right?
Number 13.
Well, guess what?
Oh!
Yeah, I got him pinned at number 13. I totally agree with you. He did really good at Duke. I love what he did at Duke. It's just a lot of questions coming into the SEC. What is he going to do? Did Jimbo Fisher leave A&M a dumpster fire? There's a bunch of questions going on. But Mike Elko, I'm going to say this. Mike Elko does have the facilities and the money to win football games. So
he does.
My expectation for Mike Elko under year one is to definitely come out winning 8 games. And I know people are going to be like, really, Matthew? Really? I mean, first year head coach in the SEC? Really? Yes, really. He has all the talent in the world. You can buy players now. You should come out the door swinging. I mean, Mike Elko won two 9-win seasons at Duke in a row. If you could do that with Duke and with lesser facilities, Mike Elko should be able to win 8 or 9 games in year one with A&M. Is that going to happen? I don't know. That's why I have Mike Elko so low, because he is a first-year SEC coach. I know he did great at Duke, but what can he do with A&M?
Absolutely. Got to see what happens. Got to see the recruiting, and he's got to put it on the field too. Sorry for the silence there, folks. Next on the list, so we agreed on Elko. That's where my next guy comes in. I got Sam Pittman.
Wow. All right. Expound on it.
I love Sam Pittman. I love his heart, his character, his love for the SEC and everything. But he hasn't done enough in my book for Arkansas. But obviously, I think, I put Elko that low, and I know I put guys like Jeff Lebby and everything, these new guys coming in that we need to see more from. What about the guys that we have to see take the field again? And I look at Sam Pittman, and he's great with the offensive line and everything. I don't buy the defense. I don't buy him winning big-time SEC games. It's going to get tougher with the schedule. I haven't even looked at Arkansas's yet, but I don't even want to know what he's going to walk into as far as the schedule next year and going into it. And I wonder, as much as Arkansas fans must love Sam Pittman, how long do you give him before you pull the plug?
Right. I think it's a must for Sam Pittman. That's why I got him so low. For Sam Pittman, he has to win. He has to at least win 7 games this year, and I don't think that's going to be possible with Arkansas this year, losing KJ Jefferson, and last year, remember in the offseason, I made a video about this. Arkansas lost all of their wide receivers, a lot of their offensive weapons. Now they're even losing KJ Jefferson this year. Sam Pittman, he's got a lot on his he has a tall task, right? There in Arkansas. You got some teams like A&M, LSU, even Bama with the new head coach. You got some teams that are going to be better than you, Arkansas. So Sam Pittman, he's got to win at least 7 games to keep his job. I don't think that's possible. He might be staring down the 5-7 barrel once again, and I think Sam Pittman's run as head coach is over. That's why they brought in the offensive coordinator Petrino, right? Because I think
Bobby Petrino. That's right.
I think Sam Pittman, they're giving Sam Pittman 1 more year or half a year, but Bobby Petrino's looking at that head coaching job, and he's looking his chops.
They're gonna send Pittman packing. He'll be like, "Well, I'm fired. Guess I'll go get me a cold beer."
Sam Pittman knows if he don't win that this is a hot take. This is a very hot take. I think Petrino is licking his chops, wanting a second chance at Arkansas, and he's wanting it badly. I think he might get his chance. People said that he would never be at Arkansas ever again. And guess where he's at right now? He's the offensive coordinator at Arkansas.
He's in
the driver's seat to be the new head coach if he wants it. So Sam Pittman needs to do a good job this year, at least win 7 games in order to save his job, or else that offensive coordinator is going to be licking his chops, ready to take the Arkansas to new levels. So, but at number 12, I got Billy Napier. Billy Napier is now, I'm a Georgia fan. I don't like the Florida Gators, but Billy Napier has not gotten a chance to be a head coach. And what I mean by that is he was in a really bad situation coming after Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen didn't like to recruit. Billy Napier takes over a dumpster fire, and he's had some good recruiting classes here in the last few years, and Billy Napier to me is a good head coach. I just think that he's in a situation that Brian Harsin was in. I don't think Florida really. The Florida Gators are not really giving him a chance. They're wanting to be a winning program day one, and it's not going to happen, guys. I think this is a tougher rebuild than what Florida Gator fans and Florida Gators really want. Every single 3 years, if you're not doing 9, 10, 11 games, you're getting fired there at Florida. So Billy Napier, he has a tough job with the Florida Gators. That's why I have him at number 12. I think he is a good head coach, but maybe Florida is just not the right pairing with him there at Florida. Maybe if he goes somewhere else, he'll have better success. But as it goes with Florida, he's just not going to have that much success there at Florida until they let him go.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on that note. So, so you're number 13, Mike Elko. Your number 12 was Napier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's
my number
12.
11? What's that?
You already did your number 12.
I'm losing track. I didn't number these. So
you're at number 11.
Number 11. Okay. Brent Venables. Let's get on track here. Brent Venables, number 11. I think he's done good at Oklahoma so far. I think he could do better. But I mean, come on, coming off a 9-10 win season, good plunge into the SEC. I do think they're going to struggle, but I think he knows defense, which is something you need to have in the SEC. And I think he's going to fit in pretty nicely. Again, some teams we haven't previewed yet, haven't looked too far into the schedules, but um, I believe he has the tools. Guys like Dylan Gabriel and everybody out there, and the way he's recruited too and brought guys in a little bit through the transfer portal, I think it could go a long way.
Yeah, my number 11 is going to be Shane Beamer. This is where I got him pinned at number 11. I have him number 11 because, well, I mean, for what he's doing at South Carolina is really impressive. I think this is South Carolina's best coach since Steve Spurrier, right? And guess who was on that Guess who was on the Steve Spurrier staff? Shane Beamer was. He was, Steve Spurrier's number one recruiter back then. Beamer ball with special teams. I think he does pretty well at South Carolina. For what they are. Now, I'm not hating on South Carolina, but I live in South Carolina. I know a little bit about the South Carolina program. They're really not an elite program, okay? And I know some South Carolina fans are going to be mad about that, but it's just the truth. I mean, they're not some elite football program. They're a good football program. I wouldn't even say that they're a great football program. Yeah, under Steve Spurrier, they were a great program, but they've fallen off a little bit. They're a good program now. And I think Shane Beamer, with the transfer, I think he's doing good with the transfer portal. Robbie Ashford is going to be the new quarterback down in South Carolina. They just picked him up today. Robbie Ashford from Auburn, which to me is a good fit for South Carolina, for what South Carolina does, right? So with that being said, I got him at number 11. I expect Shane Beamer and company to be a lot better than they were this past year. They can get to 7 or 8 wins in the SEC this coming year. So, which, there's still a long ways to go. I haven't even looked at rosters or anything, but with Shane Beamer, I fully expect him to be a lot better than he was this past year. And, like I said, I'm gonna give Shane Beamer a mulligan for this past season because, I mean, just the injury bug really, and I know every team suffers injuries, but it seemed like South Carolina Gamecocks really suffered the injury bug at the wrong times there. So with that being said, I got Shane Beamer at number 11.
All right. I like it. My number 11.
10.
Sorry. Man, why do I feel like you went first and then anyway, I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked. So number 10 for Ballard Sports Media, SEC coaching rankings. I'm going to say Hugh Freeze. I'll go ahead and throw him on the list. I think he's top 10. He had time at Ole Miss. He knows the SEC, kind of knows the ins and outs. We won't get into the vacated wins thing or any of that, but he's a winner. He's a good recruiter too. He's picked up some 5-star guys, a 5-star here or there from the state of Alabama in his 2024 class. Can't wait to see what they do down in Auburn on the Plains. And honestly, just thinking that he's going to be a guy that ultimately improves throughout his career at Auburn. I know it's going to get tough. You're still playing Georgia and Alabama, Auburn fans. Just wanted to let you know the good news. So you're still having to play those teams. But he's good. And I think he's proven. Now, he's not. Here's the thing. I think the big question going into Hugh Freeze is, can you do what Malzahn was able to do, but do it even more? And what I mean by that, Malzahn was able to get you to some SEC titles. He won one of them in 2013. Can you do that for Auburn? That's a huge question. I doubt it, but I like the direction they're heading. I think they're closer to one than they are further away from it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. I'm not going to say anything about him right now because he is a little bit higher on my list. But who I got at number 10? I got Brent Venables. Just like you said earlier about Brent Venables, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what you said. Just came off a 10-win season. The year before that, which is his first year, number one, it was his first year. Number two, remember, guys, Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma at the midnight hour. So, they were devastated. That program was left on bad terms. Kind of put the Oklahoma Sooners in a bad position, if you will, right? A lot of guys transferred out. Spencer Rattler, I believe, Caleb Williams. There you go. I just had a brain fart. Sorry about that. But Caleb Williams, Spencer Rattler, a couple of their wide receivers left. Bunch of people hit the transfer portal. So of course you did not have a great year under Venables under year one, but year two we got to see what Venables is made of with his players, his transfer portal players, his somewhat of a recruiting class that he had come in. He got that team turned around pretty quickly and got him to 10 wins. And he beat Texas, which made the college football playoff. So with that being said, I think Brent Venables is going to be pretty good in the SEC. Obviously, I got like 9 other head coaches ahead of him, so I think he's mid-tier in the SEC to start out with. But Oklahoma, in I would say about 3 or 4 years, Oklahoma is going to be really good in the SEC. So Oklahoma is a top-tier program, and they recruit itself. I think Brent Venables is a great coach. I think he's a great head coach. I think he's really good at recruiting as well, especially at his time under Dabo Swinney at Clemson. And he's a defensive guy. Some of the best coaches, wink, wink, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, right, are defensive-minded coaches. Venables, I think, is going to be in the future a really, really good head coach. He's not going to be one of the best, but coming into 2024, I think he's top 10. So I got him at number 10.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right.
Who you got number 9?
Yep, number 9. So Hugh Freeze starts out the top 10. I haven't said his name yet, and I know that there's some Florida fans out there on the fence about what they should do with him, but I gotta go Billy Napier. I really like Billy Napier. I think that he knows his offense. He does not know his defense, but when you look at a guy like him, he's been able to recruit, and that's something that Dan Mullen, the previous head coach, was not able to do. And, there's a lot of rumors. I don't know if you saw today, but Scott Strickland, the Florida Gators athletic director, came out and said he is not, Billy Napier, I repeat, is not on the hot seat. What's your take on that and where I have him ranked?
Well, I have him a little bit lower just because of the state of the program, the state of Florida Gators program, and that is no fault of Billy Napier. But, we've heard this song and dance before. Oh, he's not on the hot seat. Oh, this guy's not on the hot seat. But whenever somebody else comes trotting along that looks pretty good and, they can turn on you quickly. If Florida goes 4-8 this year, which is really possible scenario, if you see another coach out there that might be or possibly be better than Billy Napier, you might be licking your chops and saying, man, I regret saying that in the offseason. I'm going to go out and still fire him. So I do, with how tough this schedule is next year for Florida, I am not surprised that he may not be fired this year. But next year for 2025, if he don't win, he's out, buddy. He's out. And that's just the state of the Florida Gators program right now. They want to win now. They think the Florida Gators think that they are a win now program. They're not. And that's just a hard pill for them to swallow. That's why I have Billy Napier a little bit lower on the list than I do. I think he is a great head coach, and I do not argue where you have him. He just doesn't do it for me in the top 10.
I got you there, man. I got you there. Up next, I'll hand it to you first, but who you got at number 8?
9. I got Eli Drinkwitz. I got Eli Drinkwitz at number 9. Eli Drinkwitz, I really debated putting him a little bit higher. I really did, guys. Please, Missouri fans. I do know that some Missouri fans watch my channel because, well, I've gotten some comments on some Missouri videos I made. So with that being said, do not come at me. Drinkwitz, I think, is going to be a great head coach. And I think he is a great head coach. He's in my top 10, for goodness sake, right? But the other guys ahead of him, I think, are better. I think they have better resumes anyways. Eli Drinkwitz has had one great season with Missouri, and I think that will continue. I do think that will continue. Missouri is here to stay, and under Drinkwitz, he's going to be really good. Missouri has a lot of money, and with the NIL and everything, and the way that the NIL is set up in Missouri, and all that jazz, where I believe high school players can get paid as well. I don't know. I don't know all that, so I'm not going to speak on it because I'm not really that intelligent with the whole NIL thing. But as far as I know, they have some NIL. Missouri has some NIL advantages than other teams. But what I'm saying is Eli Drinkwitz is a great ball coach. He is a winner, but he's only done it once. He's only done a great job once. I mean, before this season, Eli Drinkwitz was like 500, right? In his coaching career, he was pretty much 500. So with that being said, I need to see a little bit more so I can put you higher on this list. But for right now, I got you at number 9.
I respect that.
Who's your number? Who's your number 8?
Number 8 on the list. And again, I want to apologize. I know I've been kind of confused with the numbers and everything. Has been a long day for me, and I think I might have messed up the list somewhere in numbering. Go back to kindergarten. I don't know. Number 8. I'm going to go Josh Heupel of the Tennessee Vols, man. What a season he had in 2022. Had an okay year in 2023. Recruiting's pretty good. Have to see what he does with the new schedule next year, obviously. He did beat Alabama and Nick Saban. He's beaten teams like Florida. He's beaten teams like South Carolina. He's also lost to South Carolina. But he, outside of the stuff like that, I mean, he's a recruiter. He's really, really good, and he knows offense. He's got a 5-star quarterback coming in, Nico. I'm about to leave you. And you said it first, not me. And but no, I think Heupel's pretty good, and I don't want to spoil your list, but I see where you have him ranked compared to me. I'll just wait and let you get on to him very soon.
Right now, I have at number 8, Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, to me, Yeah, he had. I mean, he's really great. He's a really great head coach at Ole Miss. He's won what 2 or 3 10-win seasons this year, having won 11 games with the bowl win. And I think Ole Miss is in the driver's seat to be in the college football playoff. I really do. I think with their transfer portal additions and what Lane's been able to do. With Ole Miss, I think they're one Alabama win away from making the college football playoff. That's just my opinion. Actually, sorry about that. Ole Miss doesn't play Alabama, so they're
Yeah, how about that?
so actually the only tough game, if you look at their schedule, they play like 5 teams to start the season. They're going to be 5-0 easily, and then they play one of the easiest SEC schedules that I've ever seen coming into the 2024 season. So Lane Kiffin, if you don't make the playoffs in year one under this 12-team playoff format, you should get fired, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry, but yeah, Lane Kiffin, I got a number 8.
I like it. I like it. So, number 7 for me, my guy, Kalen DeBoer. Almost said that former coach, what's his name? Nick Saban. I almost said his name there, but I got to put Kalen DeBoer in the top 10 somewhere. Did great at Washington. Some people might say I have him too low. Some people might say I have him too high. Honestly, we really don't know. What's your thoughts on him getting hired? I think he's going to do good. I predicted 9-3 this season for Alabama when I did the preview video the other day. I just think it's a tough schedule, and I feel like he doesn't quite know what he's getting into just yet with the SEC. But what do you think?
I like Kalen DeBoer as the hire. I really do. A lot of people are comparing Kalen DeBoer to Brian Harsin, and that is a stupid take. Okay, that's a very stupid take. Number one, Auburn did not even want Brian Harsin as soon as he was hired. The only person at Auburn that wanted Brian Harsin was the athletic director. And that was basically the athletic director versus the boosters. And guess what? The boosters won because they support the football team and they held all their NIL money. Brian Harsin was pretty much set up to fail, right? Kalen DeBoer is set up for success at Alabama. He has everything that he ever wanted, and he is a winner. Okay, I don't care what team he used to coach. I don't care about that. Okay. He won at the group. He won at the bottom of the barrel level. He won at the group of 5 level. He won at the power 5 level, going to a national championship. He's done good with the transfer portal. He's adapted well. I think he is going to be a pretty good recruiter there. Obviously, Washington isn't a top tier recruiting program or anything. So we really don't know how well he's going to be able to recruit. That's going to be a question mark. But as far as transfer portal goes, he's doing – come on, man. He's doing better. He did better with less. So what makes –
what's your thoughts on this comment from Timothy?
How could you even have DeBoer ranked when he hasn't even coached his first SEC game? Well, we're doing SEC rankings, so somebody has to be last and somebody has to be first. Yeah. We're ranking all the SEC coaches, so 1 through 16. So somebody has to be ranked. But I see what he's saying. Probably should be number 16, but I don't agree with that. I think Kalen DeBoer is a winner. He won with less, guys. He won with less. He took a lesser football team in Washington, and he beat Texas, which was supposed to according to everybody else, beat Washington, right? He took a lesser Washington team and beat Oregon twice, which everybody had Oregon winning both times, right? So with that being said, he's a winner, guys. He's a winner, and he's going to win at Alabama. I mean, I hate to say that as a Georgia fan because I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen.
Yes, you do.
So, but he is going to win. Now, is he going to win a title his first year? Absolutely not. No, he's not. He probably go 10-2, 9-3. I think 9-3 is more like it. You got
That's
LSU.
what I said. Yeah.
You know, you got LSU, Missouri, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia. I mean, you got a lot of teams there back to back to back to back, and Auburn at the end of the year. It's going to be really tough to win all them games in a row. So you're going to lose a couple of games, Bama fans. Get ready for it. But Kalen DeBoer is set up for success.
Absolutely. Coming in after him. Go ahead.
I didn't even tell you my number 7.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So my number 7 is Hugh Freeze, right? Hugh Freeze, you know, he's a winner everywhere he goes. I'm not going to talk about the cheating or whatever he did. I'm not going to talk about that. But as far as what he's doing now, I think he is a winner. He almost beat the number 1 team. I know almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but he had the number 1 team on the ropes. Okay. He had Alabama this year on the ropes. It took a miracle for Alabama, which made the playoffs, to beat them, right? It took a miracle. I know he went 6-6. I know it was a garbage year. I understand, but this was year 1 for Hugh Freeze. Also, with that being said, he has experience at Ole Miss, where he beat Nick Saban 2 years in a row. And I'm not here to talk about the whole cheating thing or what he's done in his past. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about wins on the field and what happened. So with that being said, I have Hugh Freeze at number 7. You know, he's doing really good in recruiting right now. And I mean, Auburn's going to be there right in the mix in the SEC, especially with Nick Saban retirement. I think Hugh Freeze beats up on your boy Kalen DeBoer a little bit in this coming year.
Really?
I mean, Hugh Freeze is going to be a tough competitor. I mean, he's a competitor, that's for sure. But with that being said, I got Hugh Freeze at number 7.
I like it. All right. Number 6 for Ballard Sports Media. Maybe he's a little low. Maybe not. We'll get Mayhem's take. Brian Kelly of LSU at number 6. What do you think, man? Here's my defense. You got to think of the guys that I haven't named yet that are ahead of him. I think they've done more with a little bit less. I think the recruiting's great with Brian Kelly. But, I mean, again, this is not a biased list. This is not an easy list to make either. So you guys got to understand, like, you got to put these coaches somewhere. I got Brian Kelly in my top 6. Now, when you watch the playoff shows, when they do the rankings, they show the top 6 teams, right? Brian Kelly is right there on the outside looking in. He's a little bit close to getting in that playoff field, right? He's in there. He's trying to get in there. What do you think, man? Is Brian Kelly too low? Is 6 too harsh? Is it? What do you think?
Very harsh.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Very harsh. You're absolutely wrong. Way too low. At Notre Dame, going back to his Notre Dame days, he was averaging 11 plus wins every year, making college football playoffs almost every year, getting stomped every single year too. But not going to talk about that. He made it, right? Now he comes into the SEC. Everybody said that he's not a culture fit. Everybody said that he is faking his accents. Everybody said that he's not a Cajun, right? He's not a Louisiana Cajun, right? Everybody said that he wouldn't be successful at LSU. Everybody said this, that, and the third, but he comes in very first year, beats Alabama, and goes into the SEC championship to get stomped by one of the greatest teams of all time in the Georgia Bulldogs, right? So, well, that's to be expected, right? And then he goes on to stomp Purdue in the bowl game, and then by like 50 something points. But that's neither here nor there. This past year was kind of a disappointment. We were expecting him to win the SEC once again, but with Alabama and Nick Saban, you cannot beat the Saban twice. All right, that only happens once in a lifetime. And they, I think they were right in there until Jaden Daniels got hurt and left them kind of one dimensional there. So with that being said, I disagree with you.
Brian, hey, this guy Timothy has him at 9, so I had him at 6. You want to fight that?
I mean, both y'all are wrong. I mean, it's your opinion. I mean, number 9.
Exactly, it's our opinion.
I mean, who name? I want to know Timothy's top 8. Then who are your top 8? Who's 8? We're not talking about the team. By the way, we're not talking about the teams. We're talking about the coaches, right? The top 16 coaches who we would like to have in the SEC, right? 1 through 16, 16 being dead last. So, there's only 16 teams, so obviously, but I didn't want to confuse anybody. But this is ranking the SEC coaches only, right? Only ranking SEC coaches. So with that being said, Brian Kelly at 9, Brian Kelly at 6. Both of them are delusional. He's way higher on this list than number 6 or 9. You cannot name 8 coaches that are better than Brian Kelly, or you can't name 5 coaches. I mean, Ballard's about to. We're going to find out, but I'm going to disagree with him. But anyways, at number 6, I got Josh Heupel. I like what he's done at Tennessee. He took a Tennessee program that was swirling down the toilet. Josh Heupel really took a coach, took a job, and turned that program around. His very first year, he went 7-5. But guess what? He had like 20 something players leave his program, and he was able to do more with less. Second year, he beat Alabama, went 10-2. And then I believe he won his bowl game versus Clemson, versus Dabo Swinney, right? And don't give me, well, it was just a bowl game, meaningless bowl game. Don't give me that. Dabo Swinney cares about that bowl game. You know that. Stop it. So with that being said, Josh Heupel was at number 6. I think he's a really good guy. I think he's a really good head ball coach there. Coming in at number 6, I think Josh Heupel has the potential to do great things with Tennessee. Like Ballard said before, have 5-star Nico, I'm about to leave you coming in. He's got Brew McCoy coming back for his 43rd year in a row. He's got some other guys. What's that guy's Squirrel White there? Yeah, he's coming back. Got some guys coming back for Josh Heupel. I think he's going to have a successful year again. Josh Heupel also, won 10 games this year. No, 9 games. Yeah, 9 games. He won 9 games. So back-to-back 9+ wins. We've heard that before. Tennessee fans, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, we're not going to get into that. But yeah, Josh Heupel, he comes in at number 6.
Okay, I like it. So it's my turn, and it's time for my number 5 on the list, Kirby Smart. You know I'm fooling with you. No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Mark Stoops. I'm gonna go Mark Stoops.
All right. Well, tell us about it.
Yeah, so 7-6 overall. I mean, he's had 8, 9 win seasons before with Kentucky, I believe, and 7-6, 3-5 in SEC play, just under 500 there. Had some losses that I think should have got back. I understand they were good losses though. I felt like the one loss that stuck out last year though, Clemson and South Carolina, 2 3-point games. Clemson could be on the rise, could be back next year. That's possible, but come on, South Carolina 17-14 in Columbia. That's pitiful. Pitiful and sad. But I do like Mark Stoops. I think he can bring in some good recruits. He can use the transfer portal, picked up Devin Leary from NC State, and he has his team going in a good direction. I got to put him somewhere. I'll put him top 5, but he's not in the top 4 category in my list.
Right. I got at number 5 Kalen DeBoer. Right.
Oh,
And
okay.
I have Kalen DeBoer at number 5 because, well, I've already been through this one time, but I'll say it again. Kalen DeBoer has won with less. I'm gonna remind you that he was the second best team. He put the second best team on the field twice this year, actually 3 times, but we're counting just up until that national championship. He has put the second best team on the field twice last year. One with Oregon and one with Texas, right? Obviously, he got beat by Michigan. But with that being said, he's won 2 games, actually 3 games, because he faced Oregon twice. He won 3 games that he shouldn't have won. He had the lesser football team, and his coaching abilities, he is a winner. He only has 12 losses for a reason. Let that sink in, okay? At the bottom of the barrel level, at the group of 5 level, he was able to win. He was able to win at the Power 5 level, and he's doing it right now. And he is going to win at least a minimum of 9 games this season. I don't care. I think he's made some splash hires at offense coordinator and defensive coordinator. A lot of people are giving him a little flack about the defense coordinator position, but that guy is a well-respected defensive coordinator. A lot of teams would have taken him if given the opportunity. I think Alabama is going to be really good this season. It's not going to be no Nick Saban good, but it's going to be really good anyhow. So that's why I got Kalen DeBoer at number 5. He's going to be set up for success. A lot of people, like I said, are saying that he's Brian Harsin 2.0, right? But he is not Brian Harsin 2.0 because Brian Harsin was put into a situation where he was set up for failure. Kalen DeBoer is put in a situation where he is set up for success. He has Nick Saban in his corner, right? Whenever you see a boxing match, right? In his corner, we got Nick Saban with Kalen DeBoer, right? So he's got Nick Saban in his corner. He's got the Alabama Athletics in his corner. He's got most of the team, and I know there's a lot of transfers that already transferred out, but that is to be expected whenever you get a brand new head coach, right? A lot of people wanted to play for the greatest of all time, Nick Saban, and how can you fault them guys for that, right? Growing up as a child, your dream is to play for Nick Saban if you're a football guy, right? So you heard about the greatest of all time, Nick Saban. You want to go out and play for him. Now that Nick Saban is retired, you did not want to play for Kalen DeBoer, so that's why you're going to transfer. So that is to be expected whenever you get a new head coach. That is not that doesn't have anything against Kalen DeBoer. That was going to happen regardless of who was it don't matter if Dan Lanning got the job, Sarkisian got the job. It don't matter who got the job. There was going to be a lot of guys transfer out anyways. So that whole argument, don't come at me with that argument. That is a stupid argument in my opinion. And I'm a Georgia guy and I'm defending Alabama, which sounds really bad coming out of my mouth. I have a bad taste coming out of my mouth because it's just nasty saying this bad language coming out of my mouth. I want Alabama to be bad. I hope I'm wrong about this, but Kalen DeBoer is a winner. That's why I got Kalen DeBoer at number 5.
I like it. And obviously I wasn't that high on my guy, man. I know, but I just I think outside the box a little bit, honestly, what I do. Now, get back to my list. Number 4. It's time for the fourth quarter, man. Throw the 4s up. Come on. Yeah. All right. Number 4, I got Elijah Drinkwitz from Missouri. And the reason is because of his sustained success. He got off to a rocky start, but when you look back at the past couple years, when you look back to 2022, he went 6-7. He took a huge jump this year. I'm talking huge jump to 11-2, 6-2 in SEC play. Won his last 4 games. Hasn't had a loss since that Georgia game. His other loss was LSU at home. Beat Tennessee, Florida, Arkansas, but then he beat Ryan Day in the Ohio State Buckeyes in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. How would you assess Eli Drinkwitz and me having him in the top 4 there?
I got a question. What? I noticed you said that he has sustained success. So I did want to ask you this question before I get on, but I want to know what sustained success he's had.
Just consistent improvement in my book. The past couple of years.
No. Do you have his record pulled up?
His overall record? I don't.
No, do you have his year by year at Missouri?
I'm looking at schedules here.
Okay. I was just trying to. Did he make an improvement from year? I think he's pretty much been at the 500 until this past year. Am I right or am I wrong?
Oh yeah. I thought maybe he took a jump to like 7 or 8 wins in 2022. I guess not. I knew he went 6-7 in his first year. I had thought he took a jump to like 7 or 8 wins, and then he had the big jump this year. But I would rank him, based on last year. Give him a lot of credit, and I do think he has a bright future. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. Well, Timothy in the comments, he said he's had one good year, and that's his past year. Exactly. I agree with that. He has had only one good year, and I think I do agree with Ballard. I do think he is going to have better seasons. I think Missouri coming into the SEC, and see, this brings me to the Timothy comment right here. Tim Mothy, he said DeBoer is set up for success, but he hasn't proven anything until he coaches one season in the SEC. Well, the coach from Missouri, whenever in 2013, whenever Missouri got into the SEC, won back-to-back SEC East titles, and if I was on YouTube back then and I would have ranked him dead last, I would have been kind of crazy to rank him there. So that's why I also have Kalen DeBoer a little bit higher, but with Eli Drinkwitz, I have him a little bit lower than you do. I have him at number 9 only because he has been in the SEC. And we see stuff on the field. I think Kalen DeBoer is definitely a better coach than Eli Drinkwitz today. Just head coaching, right? I think Washington could beat Missouri if they played one-on-one. And I know that's going to be a hot take there, but that's just my opinion. If you told me you had to put your life savings on Kalen DeBoer or Eli Drinkwitz to win a football game, I'm going Kalen DeBoer. He's a proven winner. But with that being said, that's why I have Eli Drinkwitz a little bit low, just based off of what he's been able to do with Missouri or what he's not been able to do up until this past year. And that's why I also got Eli Drinkwitz in the top 10. It ain't like I got him at number 16 or anything like that, right? I mean, I got him at number 9. But I think, a little bit high for me, not knowing if he's going to have that sustained success, which I do believe he will. He's not going to be winning 10 games a year, but I think he'll be able to win 8 or 9 games every single year at Missouri. So also, who do I got at number 4? Mark Stoops. I got Mark Stoops at number 4. Yes, Kentucky is Kentucky, right? We can all agree with that. But Mark Stoops has taken that Kentucky team. If y'all remember what Kentucky was whenever before Mark Stoops, I mean, they couldn't even win an SEC game, right? Mark Stoops has Kentucky. I know the past couple of years has been a little bit down, but before that, he had them boys winning 10 games. He had like 2 or 3 10-win seasons, and that's Kentucky. I mean, if I would have told you 10 years ago Kentucky's going to win 10 games, you would have laughed at me and told me I know nothing about football, right?
Yeah.
So that just goes to show how great Mark Stoops is. He also is the top 10 highest paid head coaches in college football. And that's why he has not taken another. I think he has had opportunities to leave Kentucky to go to a better program, but he has turned them down because, well, number one, he's top 10 head coach in college football. There's like 130 something teams, and he's top 10. Okay, highest paid. And all he has to do is win 7 or 8 games at Kentucky, and he's never going to get fired. So with that being said, for where he's at and what he's done for the program of Kentucky football, a program where they mainly focused on their basketball, not really their football, and what he's been able to do in the portal. I like the quarterback picks that he's made. Brock Vanderbilt coming in this year. Last year, he had NC State's quarterback. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but with that being said, I like Mark Stoops at number 4 for what he's done for the Kentucky. Devin Leary. I also like pair of Levi's, pair of jeans, I call them. Will Levis there. I also like him, coming from Penn State, I believe.
Yep.
So he's done. And I think he has something set up there. Kentucky really can't recruit in football. That's just the truth. I know Kentucky fans are probably going to come on here and, the little bit of Kentucky fans that are on YouTube come on here and tell me that I'm crazy and stuff like that. But Kentucky just can't recruit. I mean, I'm gonna make a bold statement right now. If Mark Stoops leaves Kentucky today, they instantly become Vanderbilt. That's a fact.
Wow. That bad.
Yes, they become a 3 or 4 win team without Mark Stoops.
Jeez.
Easily. They become bottom of the barrel. And I know they went 7-5 this year and 7-5 last year. I get it. I understand, guys. But remember, he's won like 2 or 3 10-win seasons at Kentucky. He has done a lot for this program. And I mean, every single year it's kind of like, Kentucky, you can pretty much say Kentucky's going to win 7 or 8 games every single year. Without Mark Stoops, they're below 500 easily, without even thinking, blinking, or farting. I mean, Mark Stoops is Kentucky football. He is. He's going
Yeah.
to. I mean, one day there's going to be a statue outside of Kentucky football with Mark Stoops. He's going to be the most winningest head coach at Kentucky, and Mark Stoops can go just about anywhere and be a head coach and be successful. And he's doing it at Kentucky, and I think he likes it there at Kentucky. And I don't think he wants to move anywhere, but I think he has had opportunities in the past. And yeah, I have Mark Stoops at number 4.
All right. Top
Your
three?
top 3. Yeah.
Lane Kiffin is next.
Okay.
About time we got to him. I just love his offensive scheme. I love what he's built at Ole Miss. Doesn't know defense too much, but I think with Pete Golding, I know Alabama fans gave him a lot of crap for what Pete Golding did at Alabama, and I was one of them. But I think it has improved Ole Miss's defense in ways. I think the recruiting's good. He's used the transfer portal a lot. Brought in a couple different quarterbacks they could use, and Spencer Sanders and Walker Howard and Jackson Dart, of course. He's built up an offensive juggernaut, and you need that today in college football, I think, and that's why I give him his props at number 3.
Yeah. Well, I have Lane Kiffin down at number 8, and I'll give you my reasons. What we already talked about Lane Kiffin a little bit, but this year was the year that, well, before this year, his best win was versus maybe a ranked Indiana in a bowl game, right? Coming into this year was arguably his best year ever as a head coach, ever. And I'm going back to the Tennessee days. I'm going back to the Southern Cal days. I mean, this past year was his best coaching ever, okay? And he finally beat a decent team in LSU. I think LSU, if I'm not mistaken, remind me of a better team, but I think LSU this year was the best win that he's ever had, and he almost lost it, right? Outside of that, I can't really find another win that was really, really great. That's why I have Lane Kiffin so low. But yeah, I like his offensive scheme. Like you said, no defense. And we've seen that in the LSU game. It was like 51-52 or whatever it was. Really high scoring.
Don't sleep on that Peach Bowl from this year with Penn State too.
Yeah, I'll give you credit for that as well. Not sure. I mean, I gotta go back and see who was on the bench for Penn State and who was on the bench for. I gotta compare the teams. But with that being said, I don't have Lane Kiffin in my top 3. I mean, I feel like that's. I no disrespect to you, Ballard. I think that's kind of laughable. Top 3, really. I mean,
okay.
I don't know. I mean I hate to say that, but I'm being really truthfully honest with you. But that's as honest as I'm gonna get. I have Lane Kiffin at number 8. He has him at number 3. I wouldn't be mad at you if you put him somewhere at 5, 6, or 7, but number 3, I'm still not mad at you, but
you're gonna
number 3 is
mad. You're gonna get real ticked about number 2 then.
Well, number 3.
There's only 2 coaches left.
Yeah, I have number 3 at Steve Sarkisian, and Steve Sarkisian. I'm gonna be honest with you. Last year, if we would have done this last year, I would have had Steve Sarkisian way lower than this.
Yeah.
Steve Sarkisian has shown me something this year, but that's why I have him at number 3, right? He has to do it again. He has to do it one more time for me to believe, right? He has to have that sustained success. I almost put Steve Sarkisian at number 4 because that's how much I respect Mark Stoops and what he's done at Kentucky, right? I almost put him at 4. But with that being said, I do think Steve Sarkisian is number 3 right now. as we speak. The state of the program of Texas, he has made a facelift of that program, and he's got them to the college football playoff. He couldn't beat Kalen DeBoer, and that's kind of weird that I have Kalen DeBoer ranked lower than him because, well, Kalen DeBoer is undefeated against Steve Sarkisian. I think he's 2-0 against him. So it's kind of funny how I have Kalen DeBoer ranked lower and Steve ranked higher. But with the SEC experience, I will have to put Steve Sarkisian just a little bit higher than Kalen, which, in the few years, I think this list is going to change a little bit. But we're talking about 2024 SEC coaching rankings, right? So for 2024, I got Steve Sarkisian at number 3. I really liked what he did this past year with Quinn Ewers and company, A.D. Mitchell, and the offensive line, that defensive line. I think they were nasty this year. I think they were really good. I think he had a pretty complete team, and I think he showed what he was made of this year and what his future looks like. So that's why I have Steve Sarkisian number 3. And listen, number 2 is not going to be Kirby Smart. I don't care if Ballard puts him at number 2 because Steve Sarkisian is not number 1. So you can go ahead and shut that down now, okay? Because yeah, you can go ahead and shut that.
You're such a damn fool for assuming, okay? Because I got Sark at number 2 and I got Kirby number 1, homie. I did it. Because I'm not that dumb.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my 2. I got Brian Kelly at 2, and obviously I got Kirby Smart at 1. With that being said, Kirby Smart, obviously championships, and the 29 winning streak, and I think he had like 20 something wins in a row versus SEC teams. So with that being said, and the only coach that he's lost to since 2018 is Nick Saban. So all these other coaches has lost to him. So with that being said, I have
I thought I could share my list there. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to show proof. I got receipts.
Well, I mean, listen, I think I like my list a lot. Is there anything about my list that that you're like, oh my goodness?
No, I think you did
wild.
I think you did it better than me. I think it starts with Kirby Smart and it works its way down to the unproven whoever.
Yeah, unproven.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are some guys like Mike Elko that I have at 13. Kalen DeBoer at number 5. Them guys, I do have Kalen DeBoer. I've already explained this twice. I'm not going to explain it again, but I feel like the state of the Alabama program, they're getting a lot of flack on Twitter and social media and stuff like that, but don't listen to that. That's just rat poison, right? Kalen DeBoer is going to win. It might not be, 11 and 12 games this year, but that's why I got him at number 5 because he's not proven, or else I would have him in my top 3, right? Because it is Alabama. Alabama is Alabama, and that's just a fact. I know that they've had some rough years, but Alabama is always going to be Alabama. They've had some successful coaches, Paul Bear Bryant. They've had, Nick Saban and, Gene Stallings. They're set up to win national championships. And that's why I have Brian Kelly at number 2, because LSU is built to win national championships as well. But why I have Mike Elko so low? Because Texas A&M has not won anything since 1939. So yes, A&M has A&M has all the money in the world and has everything set up to win championships in this day and time. but it's kind of the unknown. That's why I have Elko so low, but that's why I have Kalen DeBoer so high, is because I know Alabama is a proven program to win, and Kalen DeBoer is a proven winner. He's won with less talent, and he's going to have a lot better talent coming in. So with that being said, them are my reasons for that. Mark Stoops, some people call that a surprise, but for what he's done at Kentucky, is unmatched. If I told you, name me 4 coaches who you would call tomorrow, it would be Kirby Smart, Brian Kelly, Sarkisian, and Stoops.
Right.
Maybe Lane Kiffin, but maybe Hugh Freeze. But Hugh Freeze is one of them cheater type of guys. Like, you don't know if he's going to mess your program up by cheating or having scandals or stuff like that, right? You might want to call Josh Heupel, but I mean, he's only been through a couple years. Lane Kiffin, he's going to have a great offense, but no defense. So if you was in a Pac-12 situation, you might want to go with him. But if you're in the SEC, your top 4 coaches, in my opinion, Kirby Smart, Brian Kelly, Sarkisian, and Stoops. You're going to call them every single day of the week. Facts.
Absolutely. What else you got tonight, Mayhem, before we get out of here?
That's all I had, really, is to rank these coaches. And I think we did a really good job, both of us, for not knowing some of these guys that are coming in. I think both of us had really good lists that we put out there. And I think we had some really good reactions. I think we had some really good, definitely some really good reactions to some of them. Because you said you're going to surprise me at 2-1. Thought maybe you would put Smart there. I was really going to put that as a short, because I was about to say, if you had Kirby Smart at 2, me and you was going to go another hour on this show, okay? But you pump fake me there. So yep. I think you got me there really good. I think we had some great content today. I'm really excited for the 2024 year. I'm excited for what Kirby Smart's got his hands in, right, and his feet in, because it's about to go down. Hey, I do have one question, speaking about Alabama and Georgia. Caleb Downs, there's a lot of fake accounts going out. There's a lot of fake accounts going around saying that, I'm Caleb Downs, I'm hitting the transfer portal, right? I mean, it's getting close to that 30-day window. I mean, what's your thoughts about Caleb Downs and the state of, where he's going to end up?
If he does transfer, I do think it'd be Georgia. I've heard, I heard, I can't remember what account it was, but someone put a video of Jabbar Muhammad of Washington and then put a video of Caleb Downs, and he said, "This is about to be an unfair duo." And I'm just like, bro, stop it. I mean, people have gone crazy on Twitter about Caleb Downs, and I'm actually looking at it. I'll send it to you, what I'm talking about. I'll send it right to you. So, but Caleb Downs, I'm not going to say he's not leaving because that's not up to me. I don't know if he is. I haven't heard from him personally, and nobody has really heard that. I haven't heard from experts on it, so I don't know. But yes, I would agree that there are some fake accounts out there.
Yeah, for sure. You want to hear from an expert? Well, I got On3 pulled up on my phone right now. On3 Sports, the real On3 Sports, not no fake account. This is the real On3 Sports. Report: Alabama star defensive back Caleb Downs is undecided on whether he should enter the NCAA transfer portal. Per Tom. And then it says quotations. This is quotes from Caleb Downs. T. Rob staying at Georgia factors in. So That's one of the main recruiters that Caleb Downs had was T-Rob. Another thing is, I believe Caleb Downs' mother was upset at Georgia because Georgia did not give Caleb Downs a scholarship at first, from my understanding, right? And that made Caleb Downs a little bit upset, and his mother upset a little bit too. With that being said, T-Rob was one of his main recruiters at Alabama, and he really loved what T-Rob brought to the table, and Alabama, Nick Saban, obviously, duh. And they gave him a scholarship, and he went with Alabama instead of Georgia. Now, Caleb Downs is in a situation where T-Rob is at Georgia now, and he has a decision to make whether to stay at Alabama or go to Georgia. I mean, he's from Georgia, and if Caleb Downs goes to Georgia, you can go ahead and pencil us in as 2024 national champions. Facts. And I know. And I mean, that backfield, Malachi Starks, Caleb Down duo. What? Yeah. I mean, it's going to be locked down.
Yes, sir.
So, but anyways, Jerry Wells comes in. He says, I got to agree with Mayhem 100% with your take on Mark Stoops. Exactly. Facts. But yeah, that's all I had for the show today. We went an hour and 21 minutes, which is a little bit surprising for me, which is a little bit surprising to me because, we only ranked 16 coaches, but we sure did talk a lot about them. So I am glad about that. But, we are streaming on both Mayhem Matthew channel and Ballard Sports Media channel. So be sure to check both of them out. If you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe. And last words for me, go Dogs.
I got only one thing left to say, man.
Roll Tide, baby. Here we go.
Let's go. Let's go. We're going to be okay. Roll Tide. I love y'all.